fact, I'm leaning towards the opposite. Okay, it's 10 o'clock, and the date is November 1st. Tomorrow's election day, and I thought I'd turn this one out before then, otherwise I might be really upset. I'm using 3DS Max 7 now, if you can't realize by this little number 7 up here, and I did this because it just came out a few days ago, and as it turns out, luck would have it, the 3DS M6 SMD exporter works just fine with this. I've tested it and it works great. So I thought I may as well do it with 7 for those of you who watch this in the future and you're on above 6. Oh. I also went up back in here and changed this, God, it's been a while now. Somewhere in there there's freaking preferences. In fact, I'm probably looking at it right now, but I can't see it. Oh, it's in here, isn't it? Yeah, I went in here and changed the interpolation. I did that last time too, but I just showed you it again, that way you can see it. Okay, I need to do this quick. I have an hour to do this, or else I'm going to be in trouble with a person of higher authority than I can name. Let's get started. First of all, we're going to have to link this this thing here to this arm here. And I'm just going to assume, you know, that you watched the other ones so that you know all the other things I'm doing here and you won't be too confused. And you should be just fine. I haven't actually checked the time that I need to be doing this under because, frankly, I don't care. It's more of a hindrance than it is anything else. You can fix that later. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about right now, the mod I'm doing this for has an allocated time set for each animation, and for this particular replacement, I don't know what it is. And I think I'm going to do it that way on purpose, but I can tell you we're going to need a lot more than 30 frames. Why don't we start with getting it under 90? At 30 frames per second, that's pretty decent. In fact, let me think this through. Yeah, it seems, if I remember, it's about 3 seconds, something like that. Anyway, let's do this quick, because I don't got time. What I said last time about the 3 keyframe rule. Let me change this here. Oh, God. It wasn't entirely inaccurate, but in a way it wasn't entirely helpful to say it. More importantly, instead of 3 keyframes going in some kind of a little magic triangle, each keyframe is pretty much heavily affected by its previous, almost more than the actual keyframe itself. So keep that in mind while we're doing this, and we're going to be studying and everything else appropriately, and we all should be fine and dandy, and we'll make it through this without too many events of me cracking wise and wasting time like I'm doing right now. Okay. Let me get this situated here. I like to do things differently than a lot of other people. Since there's not many people who animate anyway, it's hard to find out exactly what one of the better ways to do things is grammar there. What I like to do is always use your camera perspective. Always. It's what you're primarily concerned with. After all, it's what everyone's going to be seeing. So that's really good to keep in mind. Haven't exactly thought this all the way through yet. In fact, I really barely thought it through at all. But I think that's going to be more of a helpful thing than it is a hurting thing here. What I'm doing here, and I'll get through this, that may be too extreme, actually. Let me check this through. Like that. Okay. A little floaty tonight. I'm in a good, confident mood. What we're doing here basically is setting it up so this right hand here can come and reach and just pull this out right here. This is a magazine for those of you who have any idea what a gun is and how to operate one. I don't. But I picked up the lingo by being scolded so many times by Nazis who apparently think the only important thing in the world is that you've got your gun logic right. You wouldn't be able to guess my political party by what I just said. That may be too extreme. I've always got a... I guess not. I could set it as 9. In fact, I like that a little better. I've already said this. What this in between here is, what's the word I'm thinking for? The terminology here, it always escapes me because I don't use it. Probably because I don't know it all the way. But what this is in between. See, basically what you want to do is get from A to B. A is 0, B is 10. But if you go straight through like this, it's not very exciting, is it? Some of you may argue that it is. Those of you are not me. Why don't you throw an in-between always if you can, just to fix it up. It emphasizes more if you're leaning in the opposite way that you want to get to, in the middle of you getting from A to B. If that makes any sense at all, you can all raise your hand and I'll use my magic eyes to see you. For most of you that it doesn't, hopefully by me doing this many times, you'll catch on to this thing, how it works, how to exactly animate like this, and you'll be my roommate is playing good songs over there. It's okay, you can turn it on, I don't mind. I'm doing this at my leisure. I don't think I'm going to get killed if somebody out there doesn't like this thing. They're not doing it, I am. You can do whatever you like. You're going to what? Defecate. That's a good one. Alright. He's going to defecate. Thank God for that. Alright. We can take this out a number of ways here. Why don't we do it the way most people don't? That's always the best. Don't worry about the arm breaking here in 1,000 places, and we'll fix that later. Let me make sure it doesn't go nuts when it turns groovy. If you've noticed, and I should have pointed this out, but I didn't, the wrist controller here is linked to this body bone. Therefore, do you notice how it's this is 0, let me just say, to the hand. It's its own little world. It doesn't, when the gun moves, this moves, and it changes all of the brazier locations and all them doodads and floats and jizzy jams, or whatever word you want to put in there to make it sound fancy. That's all I'm doing is that. But yeah, oh, well, I guess you already know that. This rig is so ghetto. I like it because it's ghetto, but I guess I'll put a zip file or something up there on the internet that everyone can download these little rigs I'm using and have fun with them. Great fun. Or I challenge you to make your own. Maybe I should make one of these little tutorials for that. You can make your own rig. After seeing this one, you wouldn't want to get advice from me on that, though, would you? Alright, now if you recall here, what was that magic number we did? Oh man, it was negative 47, I think. Bah! It worked. Rock on. You see how helpful that was? Instead of individually rotating each and every little finger out there to snatch this little magazine up, you had to type in a measly negative 47 and you're good to go, you're set, you're ready to rock on and wrap that thing around there. This is by no means exact or finalized. The in-betweens actually are going to be set up a little differently later. The joy of using this setup with the gun bone here like this is that you can change so many things by just changing one thing. See, if you want to be able to see that arm more, all you gotta do is move this up there, and we'll dink around with that later if we've got time. If not, I really want to make this the last VTM because people are getting all over me to release this stupid thing, and I'm thinking about just giving it to them. Not that there's some kind of a level of quality that I adhere to, because I don't. When I'm done, it's done, and that's it. I don't get paid for doing this crap, and I like to put a little bit of pride in my work, but too much pride takes too much time. Okay, we're going to make this so simple. It's going to be so simplified. Use the gray one on this here. I think I will. I'm trying to think what I want to do with this stupid thumb. Yeah, good for nothing thumb. What's it ever done for us? Man, I'm getting really too perfect with this. Getting too nitpicky. Doesn't need to be perfect because we don't have a million hours to do this thing. And, I wish I would have kept track prior to doing this of how long I normally take whenever I animate something. I don't know. I'm hoping I can get this done in an hour. I'm confident that I can. If it means I have to cut a few corners, all the better, because I get done quicker. I really don't want to make another one of these. Nothing against you guys. If anyone's even watching this. Ooh, have to get prissy with these things. Has to be perfect. Has to be wonderful. Come on. my first time using Max 7. Not that that's in any way setting me up for an excuse of some kind. It's just saying that, I don't know. How fancy is that? It's like we're learning this together. Except for that, it's the exact same thing as the other one. I haven't checked out Character Studio yet, for those of you who care or know what that is. It's supposed to be a little better, or a lot better. I haven't messed with it yet. Maybe I'll make a VTM for character animation. That would be a lot more fun. In fact, I think I mentioned that in one of these other things. I don't even remember what it is. It's been forever since I actually did any of this stuff. Okay. Straighten this thing up. Really matters where this thing goes. And it may look a little bit confusing here. You may be thinking, what is this idiot doing? It's okay. I made these crappy rigs. I like to think I have some kind of a grip on them and how they work. There you go. That's good enough. Good enough is my, it's more of my catchphrase when I'm doing these things. In fact, look, we can cut so much time on here. I wouldn't normally do this, but using the rule, let's put this to the test, that keyframes are affected by their previous ones. Why don't we just set this one at this, the 15 default, which would make it 10. It's the exact same as 10. I'm sure you get that. Do you like this, the interpolation I use up here? God, I don't even remember the name. What's wrong with me today? Like that free recoil. It's called free because you don't have to work it. You don't have to do it yourself. It's free. It does it for you. That's always a good thing. One mistake that I happen to make personally all the time, some of you newer people may be doing it as well, is that I like to micromanage a bit too much sometimes, and it's never a good thing. Now, sometimes, if you want to take a little bit of time in something, and you want to just take it slow and get everything perfect, that's okay. But that's not how I do things here. It'll come back to haunt you later, because the more time that you finish tweaking these small, unimportant things, the more the big picture goes by. The animation as a whole is far more important than each individual keyframe. Therefore, I'd like to suggest to you, and this is hard to avoid sometimes, that you do not go back and edit your animations until you're done with the whole stupid thing. And you can go back, you can look at it, you can change the individual keyframes because you know how each and every one of them is affected by its previous. That way, you do end up saving yourself a lot of time. You come up with a better animation all the time, and that's true for everything. What the crack's going on here? Man, that's a long-winded speech to basically tell you to don't worry if it looks weird the first time you're playing it through. Finish the whole thing before you find stuff to nitpick. You'll be a lot happier. Look at this. I like that rig. Yeah. See how I'm nitpicking with this thing? How much time I'm wasting with it? Ooh, Nick, you breaking your own rule. Yeah, I am. That's an unrealistic position there. In fact, I'd say it wasn't possible. That one is too, but it looks a little better for now. Let's get this moving. I don't have a million hours, and I already said that too. We can stud this here for now, and we'll take it out later. Oh, you like that? What the heck is that? There's a Max 7 thing here? Maybe it's just this crappy 800 by 600 resolution. Anyway. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done this. I had linked, as I said before, this hand to the body bone here. Why don't I delete that link and I link it to the gun instead? I could have done it at the right spot, but I didn't feel like it. As you can tell here, it's off. You can see now that sometimes proper planning is a good thing. Only sometimes, though. Not all the time. Sometimes if you plan too much, you come up with something way too good. Okay, 16. Start this at 15. Right. Now we can add it on this magazine. Oh, the clip. That's right. You always got to set a 0 for everything else you want to move on this thing. You don't have to stud this necessarily, but I'm going to do it anyway. it's